Hey there everyone, I'm back to do another video. I was asked a while ago, maybe a few weeks ago, if I wouldn't mind showing my cantique collection, so I thought I would do that today. But before I get started, I'd just like to say that um, I believe it was Rob in Boston that had asked. So before I get started, I suggest uh, Google or Wikipedia, or whatever you want to use, look into their history because it's changed through the years. Band members left, new band members came in. You know, they left for various reasons. There were deaths, so it's got quite a history. And the band certainly paved uh, paved the way for other bands to follow. But these guys were they certainly toured a lot. They worked a lot, and but anyway, yeah. So it's a band I admire, and I've admired it for years. So we'll start with Canteet's self-titled debut album, released July 1967, and it's a blues cover album released shortly after their appearance at the Monterey Pop Festival. Next one is Boogie with Canteet. Okay, it's their second album, released January 1968, mostly original material. This one is Living the Blues. It's their third album. It's also a double album, released November 1968. It was one of the first double albums to place well on album charts. It was recorded in the studio and also partially live. Canteet, Hallelujah. I have a hard time saying that. It's their fourth album, released July of 1969. And it was the last album to feature classic lineup, as Henry Vestine, lead guitar, left prior to Future Blues. Hallelujah. Future Blues, their fifth album, released August in 1970. Last to feature original members, Larry Taylor on bass guitar, Harvey Mendel on lead guitar, and Alan Wilson, slide guitar, harmonica, vocals, died later that year. Very sad story. You should look into that one. Now this next one is a little extra special because a good friend of mine, Don Dave, who has never done a video on YouTube, that's okay. Years ago, may or may not remember Dimebag. We did a little, I don't remember what I gave him, to be quite honest, and I'm sorry, but I will never forget this. Every time I am moving my collection or moving something and this comes up, I always think of Dimebag Dave because he sent this to me and it was very nice. So it was a gift. Canteet Vintage. It's their sixth album, and these sessions have surfaced on multiple reissues. This is another good album. This is where things that kind of, if I have one album from them that I dislike them, I won't say hate, but I'll say dislike the most. Historical Figures and Ancient Heads. This is one of the first albums I ever bought from them. It's their eighth album, released December 1971, with new guitarman Joel Scott Hill and Little Richard, actually, on Rockin' with the King. Also includes Tony Della Beretta on bass, who left with Hill after this album and its tour. Moving right along. So this one, we have The New Age. It's a sticker. It's really neat. It's actually a sticker. Just real quick, this is The New Age, their ninth album, released March 1973. The first album to feature James Shane and Ed Bayer. Now, it's one little thing. I was real upset. I bought this actually last year, not that long ago, and I was so happy to find it because this is almost like it's like a cellophane-ish kind of material, or kind of like a cover, and it was absolutely mint. And when I took the price tag off, I went as gently as I could. And it was so delicate, it peeled off. I was so mad, and I was happy because you know, each time you get a collection, you get a record for your collection, you're filling in the gaps. You know, you're missing this and that, and this was one of those. And I'm like, oh, so I'm looking for a better copy. Not that there's anything wrong with the record itself, but I was mad that I peeled that off, and that's all my fault. So, okay. So this is One More River to Cross. Released, this is their 10th album, released in 1973. They negotiated out of their contract with Liberty and debut with Atlantic label. So, and I have some reissues. I have imports. So this is out of this is out of sequence a little bit. So the first one we're going to have is Live in Europe. This album, it was released in June 1971, and this album was right before Alan Wilson's death, and is the band's first official release of a live album. But this was right before Alan Wilson's death, and this band was busy. We have Live at Topanga Corral, released in 1971. It was actually recorded in 1969. It was actually taken from a 1969 concert at the Kaleidoscope in Hollywood, and not at the Topanga Corral, as the title suggests. Nonetheless, good stuff. We have Boogie. This is Boogie with Canned Heat. The other one was the original pressing. This is, I believe, a 1995 reissue. This next one is Canned Heat, just live. The only thing I can find out about this one is that it's a Holland import. That's all I have. That's it. A couple other ones. We have Canned Heat is like a best of. This is the original pressing on a Liberty label. It's a gatefold. I got time. This is the original. This I've seen this 3 or 4 different variations. Okay. That's the gatefold. And this other one is, it looks nearly the same, but it is not a gatefold. It's a reissue. What year was this one reissued? I want to say 81. Reissue 1981. Like I said, not a gatefold. But also, it's on the Liberty label. I don't know if it's the same Liberty, but it's Liberty. It's a different label. But I don't know if it's a different record label, per se. So that's it.